All right, y'all. Happy Tuesday. You know what time it is. I'm Sam here with Lean Coaching for Lean Coaches. So glad to have you in here today. I haven't had my coffee and I'm still somehow feeling good. I'm so excited for today. Glad that you're here. As you know, this is a place where we bring on lean coaches and have them share whatever's on their mind, whatever their challenge or pain points are that are going on, and we help support them in that. And you're a part of that. We want you to participate, engage, and wherever you're coming in from today, share that. And whatever piques your interest, a question comes up, a thought, something that really grabs your interest. Please drop in on the comments. We want to hear from you and engage with you. And as always, this is what I love to do, supporting lean coaches on their journey, especially those of you that are looking to make the leap from your 9 to 5 to doing your own thing. That's my jam. I absolutely love doing that. So if you need that kind of support and help, shoot me a DM. I'm there for you. But without further ado, we want to hop right into the lean coaching, of course. And I'm so excited to bring on someone that I've met here recently. He's just got a lot of great energy, great positivity, curiosity, all the good things that us lean coaches absolutely embody. And I want to welcome in Mr. Josh Luebker.
Thanks
Hey,
for
Josh,
having me.
what's going on, my dude?
Not much. Just another day in paradise here.
Well, hey, for those of you that aren't familiar with Josh, why not? He, like I said, has got some great passion, energy around improvement work. And so, Josh, for those people that aren't familiar with you, why don't you share maybe like a Cliff's Note version of your story and what's got you here today?
Yeah. Man, I spent 9 years in the construction industry. Started with no experience, no degree, nothing. Started at a data center in Omaha. Worked my way up in the project management ladder. Got my master electrical license. Um, did it for about 9 years, and then I got into the fractional CFO side, focusing on budgets, helping companies realize how they can manage cash flow, better things like that. But what my real calling was when I did project management, is teaching that middle management area of how to actually do the processes efficiently. There's so many people that talk high level about this is just what needs to happen, but they don't actually show you how to do it. Everybody just assumes you know how to do what I know how to do. So there's a really big gap in that, surprisingly. So started two companies this year. One's a farm that we live on, but the other one is Sulphur Prairie Management. We're just trying to help train construction managers so they feel confident and can do their work efficiently.
Well, I love this because that is all about, process management, process improvement, and
Yes.
empowering people, which is what continuous improvement lean is all about. And welcome, Chase and Adam. Great to have you here with us. And so, for I guess with that, what is it that's on your mind? I mean, you've got lots of stuff. You're juggling the farm. You've got a family, a young one, and
Yeah.
a wife who is busy as well. So what's on your mind today with all that you got going on?
And what's really been on my mind lately is just seeing a lot of risk out there that's not necessary, and it's just a lot of unprepared people are put into positions because of the labor shortage, and that gets into a lot of other issues, right? You have contractual issues that you no longer have a competent person running it, but you claim they are, and then things go backward. And it seems like 80% of projects now versus when I started, it was like maybe 40% of projects were bad. Now it's 80%. It seems like it's just getting worse. COVID didn't help, but that's something that I hear a lot of from a lot of people that reach out, surprisingly.
So what is the what's kind of the ideal state of affairs that like a way of because I'm not like I mean I've worked with project managers, I've been on projects, but I've
Yeah.
never been one myself. So what's kind of the ideal situation with those that you'd be looking for to go, okay, yeah, this is like working kick ass?
Yeah. So when I was in the project manager realm and I was actually coaching people up, um, it was always forward thinking. You never want to be reactionary. You see a lot of people post about being a reactionary PM is a horrible concept. And the reason is there's so much time that it takes to do something. And if you're constantly chasing the whirlwind, like the 4 disciplines of execution, something I'm heavy on,
Yep.
constantly chasing that whirlwind, you never get ahead, and you constantly go home feeling burnout. So trying to drive home those processes, this is what you need to look forward to. And what really clicked for me is when I got my pilot's license, that like I have to plan everything day one. Like before I even get to the airport, I want to check the weather. I'm going to make sure the airplane's not up for an inspection. I want to make sure that I can actually fly and I feel good enough. There's so many things that go into it, but that got me thinking. In construction, I always want to be 6 months to 12 months ahead. I never want to be this guy that's like, oh yeah, I need to order lights today, and then you go to do it, and it's like, oh yeah, the lead time's pushed because you didn't do it.
Yeah.
I hate that. I'd rather have it there, bill for it if it's stored material. There's a process like you guys talk about all the time, and if you just nail that process every time, your life and your career just explode because it's so easy. You can literally work 30 hours a week as a project manager in construction and manage 5 projects as a sub. I'm not going to get into general contractors doing that, but yeah, I hate seeing people burn out and leave the industry because they don't do things a way that makes sense.
So you've got this, like, the ideal kind of place is not reactionary, right? Like planning ahead,
Correct.
being
Yeah.
proactive, right? And
Yep.
right now, tell me maybe more about what you're experiencing, like personally. That feels like kind of like industry wide, right? Which is definitely something that you're aware of, clearly. What's going on for you right now? How things are going for you in relation to all that?
So I also do a fractional CFO role where I help a civil contractor friend of mine, and that's the only fractional CFO stuff I'll ever do. It's not fun enough for me to do it for anybody else, just friend. Um, but what we're running into is it doesn't matter how good of a project manager you are, you have to constantly manage the other people that are in the chain. If you're a subcontractor or a GC, and you have to manage the owner, you have to make sure everything happens in the right sequence. And that's been kind of like a little more eye-opening being a CFO. I'm like, all I expect is that you follow the contract payment terms, but if you can't even navigate the contract to find the payment terms, like, why are you in business? Why are you in any leadership role? I get so fired up about that.
So for you then, what is your biggest, challenge or pain point that you're dealing with in your work, with the PM or the CFO? What's the thing that's really keeping you
Man,
up at night?
the pain point for me is that big companies hire people, they don't vet them. They go off of, this is what a title said you've done before, this is what you say you've done before. But there's a difference between saying you've done it and actually doing it. And
Yeah.
nobody takes the time to vet that, and nobody takes the time to correct that, and nobody takes the time to train that. So that's been my biggest struggle is I care so much about what I touch that I'm leaving my name on this. This is my legacy in construction.
Yeah.
And I have to then, I'm part of this team that's dragging it down. So it doesn't matter how good I do, it's going to look like this project was crap. All these companies suck because that's what you get. And man, that seems like every day I read more and more comments, and I feel my calling more of like, I'm going to do something. I'm going to be like the Mike Holt of construction management and just help people get there. Even if it's a little bit, even if it's just understanding a contract because they don't know that, even if it's understanding that it might not be your general job title to make sure that your subs get paid, you need to make sure that you hold your accounting team like accountable to that. For the sake of everybody in the project, the owner is relying on you. So just take ownership of anything you touch and do that. Yeah. It's a lot. It seems like all this motivational stuff, but it's like, how come we have so many people talk about it and there's thought leadership, people like it, but nobody does it? I'm tired of that. That's my pain point.
What would you say is in you? Is this? It's a very interesting conversation. I think in any industry, and I guess I don't have any in construction, but leadership is a big one right now that I hear a
Mm-hmm.
lot about. Right, and
Mm-hmm.
leading by example, as you said. Adam, you said that well
Yeah, yeah.
there. Um, but I'm wondering, and I'm not acknowledging the responsibility of the leaders that you're engaged with, right? What
Right,
I'm
right.
wondering is like within your span of control, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is it that's within your span of control that's frustrating you, that you feel like, okay, this is an area that's ticking me off, that I can that I can actually act on. So what's that thing within your span of control that you're struggling with right now?
Hmm. Um, it's almost like just getting the word out there in a sense. Like this is such a new concept that there's a third party training that's not accredited because I'm just doing it myself. Um, but it's like United Rentals going out there and they're like, I'm going to teach you how to use this skid steer. And it's not like it's recognized by anybody else in the industry, but hey,
Right.
somebody taught you how to do it. Now you're competent. Now you're better than you were. Right.
That's right.
And just because it's only been a month and a half since I've released my first course, it's just about just visibility and getting out there. And that's fine. I'm fine in this season. I'm enjoying a little bit of
Yeah.
downtime, actually. The last course took me 30 hours to put together, and like between planning, there's a lot that goes into a 6-hour course with an
Yep.
outline and what am I going to cover and where do I get the documents, all that crap. So, um, but that seems like the span of control I have is constantly trying to just get my word out there and not smother people. I hate cold DMs. I hate it with a passion. I'm sure everybody does. It's like when you get that spam call, like, "Hey, we have an extended car warranty for you." Like, yeah, my car's how old? Doesn't have a warranty anymore.
Yeah. Um, Gosh.
Does that answer
Yeah.
your
No.
question the way that you kind of wanted?
Yeah. No. No. I think it's yeah. I think it's surfacing what's underneath, right?
Yeah,
What's going on and what the challenge is.
yeah,
So and thank you. I'm seeing some great comments here from all the great people. So we'll definitely, when we get to the end, would love to kind of share maybe and engage with some more of those. So thank you all
yeah, yeah,
for chopping in there. But I'm wondering for you, so you're thinking, you've got this course that you're putting out to help people with, it sounds like leadership, project management, setting
yeah.
the example. What's your with this course? Maybe if we're moving out in the not too distant future, what's your ideal scenario with that? What would be great with that piece for you?
Yeah, what I'm building is it's taking time, but I'm building like from the beginner class up. So I've been working with other companies as well of making this like a standard, um, like an SOP. When you get hired on, this is like an onboarding thing. You're a PM over
Yeah.
there, great, but this is how we function. This is what we want you to know. Because a PM that does commercial is different than a PM that does a data center, and it's different than residential or multifamily or anything. But in construction, it's all one process. It's still one contract. You still have the major thing is like there's a lot of gray area to navigate. So it's just figuring out what's important for an APM to be successful. Because normally all I heard is like, oh, just sit in your role for at least a year to kind of learn it. And then it's going to take you 2 years to then learn all the technical stuff. And then maybe by your fifth year, you'll be a PM. Like that doesn't matter who it is. It's somebody that's off the street or it's somebody with a PhD out of a place. I literally I've had both. But
Yep.
what matters? I can teach somebody how to do submittals, RFIs, read drawings, all of that immediately within two
Yep.
hours of a class. But nobody takes the time to do that. And the way I've priced everything is to be fair to everybody too. Like if you're a company and you want to train every employee, like go ahead. It's $180 for beginner class, and like there's 10% off coupons. Like LI10 is what I use for that. But anyway, it's like now you have a great assistant project manager that you can say, hey, here, do this submittal. And you don't have to sit there and walk through spec sections or understand what you're even looking at because now they know what they're doing themselves. and you're like, hey, I need an RFI for this. They know how to extract that page. They know how to go find that page. They know how to use all of these things. They understand the whole flow of the construction project. So if they're on site and they see a problem, they can say, I saw that this was being installed, but we're supposed to be in there because I read the schedule and I understand what that means. I'm just raising the red flag. I don't know how to do anything with it because it's not my role, but it's my second week and I just saw this as a problem and I realized that. How much more forward can we be in this industry if we just took that and did all of that? So I've only done the beginner, which is like APMs, PEs, and then I've done the intermediate, which is, in my opinion, anything that's required to be a PM. So I leave out things like dispute resolution when we go through the contract, because when it gets to a dispute resolution, that's a red flag. Raise your hand, ask for help from legal or senior PM or division manager. But when it comes to like payment terms, yeah, you better believe you know how to read that. You know how to find your lien waivers. You know how to read a lien waiver. You know how to navigate scope and gray areas and change orders. So I'm going to make the advanced one coming up. That's not done yet. What I'm focusing on is it's a mindset shift from I'm looking at my project to like now I'm looking at all like 4 or 5 projects under 4 or 5 PMs. And I'm making sure that my little division within the division is meeting company standards. And this is the mindset of the 4 disciplines of execution, how to train and coach people. This is the 7 habits of highly effective people, how to constantly get better incrementally, make that stair step, make that ladder so it's not a big jump. The speed of trust. You can actually be 280% more profitable if you have an established competency. There's 4 pillars, and I'm not going to list them. It's in the book. But I'm going through a lot of that and how it applies to construction. On top of that, dispute resolution. How do you write a notice of non-payment? How do you write any notice to lien? How do you do that without getting a lawyer involved? Because the lawyer's going to say, well, did you do X, Y, and Z? Of course not, because you just assume that the contracts is a legal thing, and I'm not responsible for it, or my division manager will do it. But you're actually the only person that can do it right until it's needed, and then you need help on it. Set them up for success. So go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's all good, dude. So I'm thinking like big picture with it, because it sounds, I mean, obviously, clearly you're passionate about it and you've thought through all of this, and because you've experienced it and you've seen like the downstream impact of this kind of support and training for PMs, right, in the industry, they haven't got it, right? And companies aren't, it's not out there. What like in like maybe 6 months in a year would you want that to look like from your
for me,
for like your business perspective? What would be great for you with this new venture you've gone into? Like, how would you know, okay, this is awesome, it's
how it's working?
Like, well, just like high level, like what are you seeing, what's going on for you to know this is like exactly what I dreamed it would be?
Yeah. So I keep in contact with a lot of people that I've trained. Like before I established the class, I trained it all. I just had it written down on notes and I had to put it all together. But I actually have like live data of 3 individuals that I worked with from, one came from the field, one came off the street, one came from college. So I know that this works for everybody, right? But I've seen them as they've grown. They went from knowing nothing of office stuff, not even knowing how to use like Bluebeam. They don't know how to print to a PDF. I had one person, the person from college, like printed something off, scanned it back in to make a PDF. And I'm like, this is asinine, right? But now they're PMs and they're on their way. They're on their way to being a senior PM. And my goal is to fill that void of like how you get from project manager, assistant project manager, all the way to like, I'm on deck to be a project executive next, or a C-suite, or whatever you want to be. That's up to you. But I want to help you be so efficient at your work and also avoid the burnout. That's the biggest problem. I can't help the field. I'm not good at the superintendent side. I have a lot of contacts for that. But when it comes to the office side, I know 100% what you need to do, how to make it happen. And my gauge is going to be over the next year. The people that have taken the class already, I'm going to watch them grow. And I constantly reach out to them. Hey, I updated this for your comments back.
That's awesome.
So they go take it. And then now I see, hey, you're being promoted. Great. Like, can you give me a little feedback on what I did to help you get promoted?
Right.
What situations did we do? And so I'm in the early adopter stage of people that are like super frustrated with their career.
Yeah.
They're the ones that sign up. They're the ones that are actually getting the best benefit. But the people here in the next, I'd say 3 to 6 months, you're going to have that curve, where it's like now it's becoming more standard. People are seeing it more. It's more branded. And that's it. My goal isn't sales. I don't really even care. I do it because I'm trying to help the community. But at the same time, like, I don't want to just spend 30 hours away from my son and help talk to people all the time for free.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a stay-at-home dad. That's my thing. I do this 5 hours a week and that's it. And I love the feedback I'm getting. It helps me feel so encouraged that, first you post for 2 months. You're like, I hope that this is taking traction. I have people liking it. People are following me, whatever. Maybe it's working.
Yep.
But now I actually see rubber hit road. I put out program. People are giving that feedback. I could read some of them. I'd have to pull them up, but it's my traction.
It's, again, you've got that heart, right, to help these people on their journey. And you mentioned earlier, like the challenge for you is getting the word out. What do you feel like, you say more about that challenge that you're having, like with this? Obviously, like you said, you're kind of in this early stages, but what do you feel like is your biggest challenge with that?
Yeah. It's a learning curve. I like Adam just said, ask for help. Like, I know it's in context to something else, but I ask people for help that know LinkedIn, right? I follow Jonathan Kohler. He's really great at the marketing stuff for construction. I follow Lance. I talk to him a lot. I get other people's input on what's worked, what hasn't. But then the most humbling thing I've had to do is ask a 20-something-year-old, like,
I love it.
How do I wear it? Like, how do I section this off so it looks appealing, visually appealing, and like it gets people to want to read it? Like, I'm 33. I should know how to use a computer and do all that, but I'm not a psychologist. I'm a project manager. I know how to do my job. So it's embarrassing asking somebody who's 20-something to show me how to do something better. And they make more money than I do. Like, they make 7 figures because they're good at this. Like, whatever, I'll pay you to do it. F it.
That's right.
But that's the struggle too. Like, I'm not at the stage where I'm willing to pay $2,000 to $5,000 a month to have somebody do it for me. So I'm just trying to figure it out on my own until I get there.
What's the thing right now that's just driving you crazy with this? You're not paying somebody to do the marketing and all that. So what's the thing right now? And you've got great resources. Love Lance. And sounds like you're out there asking for help. What's the big challenge that's driving you crazy right now?
I'd say it's figuring out some of the algorithm stuff because it constantly changes. And then also like when I first read it, it's like, hey, you should post at 9 to 10 because it's the golden hour. Well, that makes sense to me because people in California are 7 a.m. People in East Coast are 10 a.m. to 11.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I've learned that, like talking to Matt Graves, as soon as it comes to like noon, it's like people switch. They do not go to LinkedIn. It goes straight to Instagram. So it's, there's, and that might shift. That might change as LinkedIn gets bigger. It's like, okay, who's the primary function? What are people? When I joined this, it was I wanted to find a job. Now it's like you can actually find clients and help people on LinkedIn.
That's right.
Before it was just recruiters and me being headhunted by everybody.
Yep.
So
the platform has changed.
Yeah, for sure. And it's just keeping up, and it's the micro changes that you don't even realize.
Yeah.
It's just over a year, all this stuff happens, and you're like, how did I fall off the wagon? What happened? So that's the struggle for me, is learning that, staying on the cutting edge. And I only put 5 hours a week toward it. So it's hard for me to like constantly read up on it and engage and write posts and put out new content.
So, I mean, and also it's doable, right? It's doable.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
showing up is the thing, right? So I'm wondering for you, what's a thing that you could do? Like, I mean, you know, in 15 minutes, right? Like today or tomorrow, between today and tomorrow, what's one thing you could take like 15 minutes that would help you with this, like understanding the micro changes, the algo, like, or whatever the biggest thing, like what's one thing you could try that could help you so that you get maybe just a little bit,
Yeah.
nudge.
The lady that well, I call her a lady. The girl that's like 22 that I first talked to, I'll
Uh-huh.
always recommend her because she was so helpful. But like, she's already rebranded after 6 months, 7 months now, to something else, and I need to reach back out to her and just find out like, hey, well, why did you rebrand? What are you noticing? What are the changes? Because she's
Love it.
obviously in tune with it if she's rebranding for a reason. And if not, no harm, no foul. It's 15 minutes. I'll talk to her, and she's really awesome.
That's cool, dude. I mean, I think that's great that you noticed that. And then you're
Yeah.
like, okay, maybe I can glean something from her that could
Yep.
help me on my journey forward. What do
Yeah.
you like? What do you expect to come from that, you know, conversation or reach out?
Yeah. So she helped me really like optimize my profile and start to understand some of that. Um, and I try to give some mutual benefit, right? I'm not a taker. I'm not just going to ask somebody to help me put together like this big video and production
Yeah.
and all that, and then not do anything in
Yeah.
return. But I think where it's going to go is I haven't actually like talked to her like in a video setting, if you will, like a coffee chat.
Oh, okay.
It's always been just like texting back and forth
Sure.
in LinkedIn. So I feel like at this point, like I need to meet this person because she's really helped me. Um, and I feel like
That's
where
cool.
it's going to go is, even though she's not construction specific, she she's in London, so it's not like she's only focusing on one target market. And
Yep.
surprisingly, like for my class, I've had people sign up from, I'm just going to say 10 countries, but I mean, I'm talking like Guatemala, Australia, New Zealand,
That's so
Canada,
cool.
the US, the
Love it.
UK, Ireland. Like it, it's not just a one country thing. So I really need to understand from her some of that side too.
Well, it sounds like it's going to be super fun, man, and I'm glad you came here and you shared, like you shared openly, which is great. And having met you before, I
Yeah.
already knew that was kind of your jam, and you were open. So appreciate you sharing that, and I'm excited to hear how that goes, right? Because we can all learn from each other, and like,
Yeah.
Chasen and Adam, and I know Jeremy, you hopped in as well. So thank you all for popping in here. And Eduardo, Kenny, thank you so much for coming in, and let's stay connected, engaged, encouraging each other. And
Yeah.
on Thursday, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about some of this, like this having these sales kind of conversations, right? Because those can be, like you said, Josh, nobody wants, like, even in the DMs, and then after, when you're actually having an engagement with someone, you're offering your support. And,
Right.
we're going to talk about how to outline those kind of conversations so that it doesn't feel like awkward, and you can just figure
Yeah.
out, hey,
I
is
need
this
to
a
get
good
to
fit or
that
not?
point. I definitely need to get to that point. I'm definitely on board with being there. Um, I'm, I'm
Well,
just
I don't
awkward at
like,
that, I
I'm
guess.
still learning a lot, honestly. I don't have seven figures, but I'm learning just like everybody else here in the chat and whatnot. I've
Right.
learned a few things, but there's a lot more to go. So I'm excited to have that conversation, and thankful that you came here, Josh. So, of course, please connect with Josh if you aren't already. And Josh, just as we wrap up, what was the most valuable part of the conversation for you today?
And you helped me like feel my passion and help me verbalize it a little better. Like the way you probing questions, some people don't like that term. I like it. I think that probing questions help you kind of figure out the underlying root cause. And for me today, that was like, I feel my passion, my fire when I talk about it. I just don't have anybody to talk about it with in person. I just have to text it in a stupid post. So I appreciate you
Emojis.
giving me that opportunity.
Absolutely. Well, emojis don't necessarily convey, and you can feel
Right.
energy, right? Like, I know
Right.
we're across Zoom, but I can feel your passion and your energies. You talk about this stuff. You clearly have the knowledge, but knowledge doesn't just do it. You have to have that energy and the passion and the care to help
Right.
people, and that's something that I think all of us here felt in our conversation. So thank you for
I appreciate
sharing.
that.
And hey, again, if you're looking for support, anyone here that's checking out or watch on the replay, this is what I love doing. So if that's you, shoot me a DM and I'm there. Let's have a conversation. And of course, join us on Thursday. We're going to talk about that favorite subject we all love talking about, sales, right? And how we can have those conversations, having an outline. So thanks
So
again, Josh.
important.
Thanks to everybody for being here. And let's stay in touch. And we'll see you
Yeah.
on Thursday. Take good care, everybody.